Good day, everyone. After just 7 days of being hired at Kodak, myself and my team, barely managing, have created a comprehensive project plan to not only restore Kodak to its former glory, but transform the company into a paragon of innovation with agility at its core. So this is the team that will spearhead the efforts in reorganizing the company, which consists of myself, Ida, Marsha, Sumaya, and Yasmin. Since the 1800s, Kodak was the most important camera and photography film company in the world. For decades, Kodak dominated the world of photography, but in 2012, it declared bankruptcy. Question is, why did Kodak, the king of photography and videography, experience such a decline in sales, enough for it to go bankrupt? To answer this question, we have conducted a root cause analysis to identify the root causes of Kodak's declining sales as shown in the diagram here. The apparent problem was that Kodak had good products that weren't selling well. Throughout Kodak's history, it has introduced many successful camera models, both analog and digital. Kodak was also an industry leader in film. Many believe that the emergence of digital cameras in the 90s were the main reason for Kodak's decline in sales. But what many don't know is that Kodak was actually the first company to invent the digital camera. They also invested heavily in digital since the 70s. Kodak never really rejected the digital camera, they just didn't focus on digital cameras enough, and this was because they didn't have a proper sales process. Kodak applied the razors and blades model, where the company sold cameras at a cheaper price but made a higher profit on consumables such as film. Kodak was well aware that the world was embracing digital, but ignored it because film was more profitable at the time. With digital cameras, there was no film. So the camera, one thing which used to make Kodak very little money, became the only thing people wanted, and they tried to sell their digital cameras the same way they sold their analog cameras, which isn't a very good sales strategy. Kodak lacked strategic creativity and failed to develop effective sales strategies that would have helped it better transition from analog to digital. With no clear strategy in mind, the sales and marketing departments didn't have an absolute path on how they should structure their way to penetrate the market. When departments operate separately from each other, this is called functional silos. Working in silos mean that each department is only focused on their own roles and responsibilities. A reason silos are created in Kodak is that departments didn't have proper communication channels that encouraged collaboration between departments. But collaboration was never really emphasized in Kodak, and this stems from Kodak's bureaucratic culture. It's difficult to imagine how such a revolutionary company, founded on innovation and change, promoted a culture that was bureaucratic in nature. Kodak's excessive bureaucracy and complex management mechanism prevented creative and independent teams from reaching their full potential. But who is responsible for creating, shaping, and changing an organization's culture? Its leaders, of course, who were very skeptical. The nature of Kodak's leadership is very much doubtful and skeptical in their approach towards adopting digital technology. They were also against the idea of changing according to market needs. For Kodak, this is what initiated the company's downfall. So we can say that this rigid mentality by its skeptical leaders is the root cause of Kodak's decline in sales.
To further identify the possible strategies alternatives that the company should adopt, we conduct a SWOT analysis between an organization's internal capabilities and external possibilities. So it categorizes the internal organizational factor as strengths and weaknesses, and the external environment as opportunities or threats. From the analysis, we see that the company has a good internal strengths where it has quality products and capable to conduct further R&D to enhance the technology of its products. So the broad market range that it used to have can still be taken advantage as a competitive edge, as people still remember how Kodak was a worldwide distributor for its film and photography products. With the rising of the technology advancements and consumer demand in digital photography, the company should take these opportunities to secure their position in the market, as many big companies has took over the market influence. The new emerging markets might not be as skillful and knowledgeable as Kodak, and venturing into the healthcare sector can also be part of the company-related diversification as it shares the same supply chain. As identified in the findings, the weaknesses of the company are lack in their sales and strategy planning that deter their positions and drift away the potential investors. Their slow response towards digital photography has took the company down. This is due to the lack in technical leadership as well as the slow behavior of the sales and marketing department. Some external factors that cause the growth of product to be difficult is the intensive capital for digital photography businesses. The products are difficult to differentiate and they are easily exposed to patent infringement. The low in customer switching costs due to the availability of substitute that could serve better products and services. The fast changes in technology has constantly changed the consumer preference.
For the major problems of skeptical nature of leadership, the first alternative that can be proposed to Kodak will be appealing to the heart through the head. This means to appeal to emotions through logic. This can be done by presenting facts and figures to the top management of the company in order to compare the company's performance with their competitors. This way, the top management would feel the need to be advanced in terms of technology as well as to be more innovative in order to perform better than their competitors. So the second alternative that can be proposed would be offering them post-retirement opportunities. A few examples of post-retirement opportunities would be life insurance, health insurance, pension plans, and many more of that sort. This will make the employees feel in-depth to the company in which they would need to perform better so that the company would perform better. This also means that they would be forced to be okay to change from time to time. The third alternative that can be proposed would be creating a culture of openness. This means to give training to their employees in order to educate them on the benefits of changing from time to time, as well as what are the stages of emotion that the employees would go through when they are facing change. This can be shown in the Kubler-Ross changing curve, which will be further explained in the recommendation section of this presentation.
Now moving on to the alternative for silos in sales and marketing department. Now the first alternative is to implement ERP solution. Now a proper communication channel using ERP can help Kodak to enhance its information sharing within an organization on a real-time basis where each department can update information in the system. It can improve communication channel across all departments too. Now, the disadvantage of implementing an ERP system will be that it is time consuming in order to fully integrate the system software into the company. The next alternative is to train employees to work as a team. Now, Kodak can eliminate silos by providing training for all of its staff at every level of departments in the company, including top executives and managers of the company. Now, training employees to work in a team will increase departments' engagement and communication on information. The downside of having training for employees is that it will require employees' times away from their work, and this may affect the company's productivity. Now moving on to the last alternative, which is to motivate and incentivize employees. Now offering an additional bonus or benefit for hitting a certain performance milestone is generally an effective way to boost productivity among employees. The drawback is that it can lead to conflicts between departments where teams might engage in bad behavior for the sole purpose of meeting their own personal goal.
Moving on to the third major problem, which is no proper sales strategy is being implemented in the company. There are 4 alternative solutions that can be used to eliminate this issue. Firstly, Kodak should revamp their sales strategies by implementing the marketing mix strategy in order to achieve their business goals and objectives effectively. With this marketing mix strategy, Kodak can plan on how they would like to advertise their product, as this method can help businesses to understand their customer needs. Secondly, Kodak can diversify their product into other growing industries. By doing this, they can gain a wide variety of customers, and at the same time, they can increase their revenue. However, Kodak should do a proper research and have sufficient knowledge on the new industries before diversifying into it. Thirdly, Kodak can differentiate their products by coming out with new and unique products that are rare to find and have a reasonable price so that customers will be able to afford it. This product differentiation allows companies to use their ability to compete in areas such as quality, along with creating an additional value to a company. However, product differentiation may also create pressure towards companies, as this will need a lot of time and resources to develop a new product. Lastly, Kodak can plan to diversify their less profitable product lines so that they can gain more focus only on products that are fit for the company. We have discussed that Kodak has 3 major problems, and the alternative solution has been given to solve the problems. It is recommended that companies should be more proactive when developing strategies for their company and have a proper decision-making process in order to avoid any difficulties or mistakes happening repeatedly.
Out of all the alternatives available, we believe that fostering a culture of openness is the most efficient method in order to mitigate the issue of skeptical nature of leadership. As mentioned before, this can be done by educating the employees on the benefits of changing from time to time, as well as educating them on the Kubler-Ross changing curve. A Kubler-Ross changing curve indicates all the stages that an employee will go through when facing change. It consists of 4 stages. The first stage would be denial. This is where the employee refuses to believe that they would have to go through change. The second stage would be defense. This is where they show in action that they are opposed to the idea of changing. The third stage would be depression. This is where they are sad about the whole idea of changing because they would face difficulties in going through the change. The fourth stage would be acceptance. This is where they finally accept the idea of changing and they know that it would be beneficial for the company as well as for personal growth. We believe that this is the most efficient method in order to mitigate the issue because it is the most sustainable method as we are maintaining a culture of openness throughout the whole organization.
Now, implementation of the ERP system is the best alternative solution that shall be adopted in order to eliminate organization silos between the sales and marketing departments. Kodak shall perform the software development cycle in order to ensure that the ERP system is integrated effectively and efficiently into the company's system. Now, the first step is the system analysis. The early go, no-go is made up 3 times. First, in the initial investigation is carried out on the information of the system, whether to purchase, develop, or modify a system. The next step is conceptual design. Kodak is required to identify and evaluate design alternatives that can be done by cost-benefit analysis and risk analysis of the system. Moving on to the next step, which is physical design. The company shall translate the user-oriented conceptual design into a detailed specification used to code and test computer programs, design input and output documents, and develop procedures. Now, the next step is implementation and conversion. Plan is developed and followed, new hardware and software are installed and tested, employees are hired and trained or existing employees relocated, and processing procedures are tested and modified. And for the last step is operation and maintenance. The new system is periodically reviewed and modifications are made as problem arises or as the new needs becomes evident.
The most strategic and best solution that Kodak should adopt to solve the issue of no proper sales strategy is by implementing the marketing mix strategy that consists of 4 P's, which are product, price, place, and promotion. Firstly, when talking about a product, it will usually include the packaging, quality, safety, warranty, and many more options the customer will look into before deciding to purchase a product. It is recommended that Kodak can introduce new products that are in line with the latest trend in the market with a proper testing has been done on the product before commercializing it to the customers. By doing this, they can prevent any difficulties from happening on the product. Next, when talking about price, it is a must for every company to have a good pricing strategy as it is one of the factors that customers will look into before purchasing any product. It is recommended that Kodak should introduce more discounts to their customers in order to gain the customers' attraction on buying their products. Moving on to the next factor, which is place, Kodak should have a proper channel of distribution such as opening more stores or selling their products online, which in this channel, they can directly reach to their customers rather than having an agent or wholesaler to sell their products. Lastly, promotion can be done by having a huge amount of advertising about their products. Kodak can advertise their product on social media by hiring influencers to promote their product, and they can organize a competition on the social media as well, where customers can take part in joining the activities.
So in this project, the 5 uppers will actively involve in implementing the recommended solutions that we mentioned before. So the project manager will lead and manage all the planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling the flow of the project, outlining the log requirement, keep project organized, create a project timeline, track budgets, and motivate the team. As for the business analyst, we will go further in detail on what should be done in every project phase to conduct detailed budgeting and forecastings. She will take part in the planning and monitoring for each recommended solutions and work across all levels of an organization to identify business needs and determine solutions to business problems. The technical architect is a system logistics specializing in design, implementing, and maintaining IT systems. She will directly involve in ERP implementation on each phase of the project through assisting in outlining the details of the system requirements and specification by addressing the technical concerns, ideas, and suggestions to meet the needs of the users and business goals. The brand manager is involved in maintaining the brand integrity, creating marketing initiatives, managing portfolios of products, and ensuring branding is consistent across advertising campaigns. The position of people and culture analyst responsible for providing insights and analysis that will support the company's leadership in their decision making. She has to facilitate organizational changes as her role is to identify and evaluate the major beliefs and values of the organizations that influence communication, practices, interactions, and required skills. The main changes and new development that we try to achieve in this project first is the implementation of ERP to integrate information between departments, second to launch new products and marketing campaigns to remain visible in the market, and third is to facilitate on the organizational culture changes in accepting towards becoming more innovative and dynamic. The ERP implementation will roughly take about 5 years depending on the progress of the system development to merge with the current system in the company. We will first implement in the main HQ and slowly move to other region and country if necessary. This costs solely for the implementation in the main HQ. The project approach covers in 6 phases, where phase 1 and phase 6 will take the longest processes. The launching of a new product will be around 1 to 2 years depending on how far the company wanted to bring a new development and features in its products. The project approach will cover 5 phases in order to rebrand and change their global networks, as well as to ensure the company bring value to its products and deploy the relevant marketing strategies. The facilitating the organizational culture change took place alongside the other changes are made, where we will try to implement the top-down and bottom-up approach in its organizational structure. The approach is to conduct seminars, training sessions, team building, employees consulting services, monthly evaluation, online courses, and managing emotional response, which will be included in the employees' engagement plan. We hope that the project plan presented able to assist the company to improve its branding and sustainability in the long run. Thank you.